Tonight, a new mining strategy released aiming to create thousands of jobs for South Australians, and calls for witnesses over an alleged break-in, with searches undertaken for a missing stolen motorbike.
From our 7 Spencer Gulf Studios, your nightly news with Ruby Kamain begins now.
Good evening. A new energy and mining strategy has been released, aiming to see thousands of jobs created in the sector. There's hope to further increase exports and continue to grow the strong industry.
Building on strengths.
For the last financial year, the energy and mining sector sales were the highest on record. So, that's a very good sign, but we're not resting on our laurels. We want to grow.
The energy and mining strategy, now launched, said to see exports skyrocket.
We intend to grow our exports from $5 billion to $8 billion and then to $13 billion over the next 5 and 10 years. We actually know that those are very achievable numbers.
The strategy aiming to get more people into jobs.
The key aim is actually to get 25,000 to 30,000 additional people employed in energy and mining across the next 10 years.
While putting money into a range of projects.
We've invested $10 million in the Accelerated Discovery Initiative, which is a minerals exploration project. So, jobs on the ground right now. We've got $5.6 million in an energy revitalisation and digital advancement strategy.
The full strategy can be found online. And in another announcement in the mining sector, mining giant BHP has revealed its plans to expand Olympic Dam have now been scrapped.
With great understanding, we've now appreciated the structural complexity of that deposit and that the higher grade zones of copper aren't as continuous as we'd originally thought. That impacted the economics of the project, and as a consequence, it's not proceeding.
The company, however, looking to grow production in other ways.
As part of that, there's a major reinvestment happening in the smelter. That's about $500 million, about 1,500 jobs on top of the normal 4,000 jobs that we have on site.
Laura Milovanovic, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
The federal member for Grey is calling for the national legislation to improve health warnings on barbecue gas bottles. It comes following the death of Port Lincoln teenager Paddy Ryan, who died after inhaling LPG in February.
It could be as simple as requiring everybody that refills or retails a cylinder to slap a sticker on it before it goes out the door. But whatever it is, it needs to happen ASAP.
Mr Ramsey says the South Australian Premier and the gas industry are backing his calls, pushing for a national response. Port Augusta police are seeking witnesses following a break-in at a motorcycle business over the weekend. Early Sunday morning, officers arrived at a premise on Stirling Road after reports of loud noises and a person seen running from the dealership. Police say they soon located a Yamaha motorcycle initially stolen from the business. A second motorbike was also taken and is still missing, a red and white Honda motorcycle CRF 150. Anyone who may have witnessed the incident or has CCTV footage is urged to contact police. South Australia is set to open its borders to New Zealand, aiming to be included in the Trans-Tasman travel scheme. It comes after several New Zealanders were allowed into the state but were exempt of hotel quarantine yesterday. Premier Stephen Marshall has written to the country's newly re-elected Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern in a bid to join the visitor scheme and boost tourism. The bubble has only involved New South Wales and the Northern Territory. Tensions are running high at Port Pirie's Federal Hotel following renovations to the heritage-listed building. The owners are calling on the community to support their family business after what they describe as a stressful few months.
Calling for the community's support during a difficult time.
We were informed by council that someone had made a complaint about the restoration we've been doing at the front of the hotel. When we shared that with some of our patrons and friends, they were quite offended by it.
Owners say they've saved for years to transform this beloved hotel into a community social space.
It's not a kick in the guts just for us, it's a kick in the guts for our staff, it's a kick in the guts for our neighbours that have helped us during this period, it's a kick in the guts for our patrons, but looking at the community support we've had, it's been a kick in the guts to the community.
It follows a challenging few months.
Decided to start and use the time for the COVID lockdown to start a full-blown restoration of the...
It's a grand old lady and needs to be looked after.
Some neighbours say it's transformed the area.
It's much safer now And so the children can come out, they can use this beautiful playground that Kylie and Mark have created, and I think that's a good thing.
The work that's been done both inside and outside, and of course even out the back with the overnight stay area, it's an absolute credit to a small family business.
Now a public consultation on the building has closed today. An online letter of support has received community feedback following a council assessment next Wednesday.
There can be some really good historical conversations at times, and it'd just be great to see these works continue.
In a statement, council says the public consultation and the request for potential change in land use zone applicable to the federal hotel are two separate considerations.
We need Port Pirie's support to actually finish. We want to take people up to the top and do a tour, and we're on a journey and we need the help.
Shari Hams, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Still to come tonight, a conference showcasing mining and skills business kicks off, and Port Pirie locals encouraged to forge a career in the disability sector. Welcome back. The 16th annual Global Maintenance Upper Spencer Golf Conference has officially kicked off. More than 60 vendors have set up stalls at Central Oval in a bid to connect with other industry professionals.
A room filled with industry specialists from around the region.
Great opportunity for the mining and energy sector to collaborate and learn from each other and show their wares and explain what they do, how they do it and how they succeed, and hopefully each area can learn from the other.
Aimed at bringing together businesses and trades for the 3-day event, the chairperson thankful the annual Global Maintenance Upper Spencer Golf Conference got the green light.
Probably the first opportunity since COVID for all the mining resource, manufacturing and defence industries to get together.
The event said to be one of the largest in the state.
This year we have 66 exhibitors and we're on the maximum limit of numbers into the regions.
Bringing upwards of 300 people to the city, the Port Augusta Mayor praising what the influx of people will do for the community as a whole.
People buy a coffee, have a meal at the pub, buy a beer or go and use some of our facilities. That's the economy boost for our small business in all our areas. So that's what this is all about.
The Mayor also looking a little different after last night's pre-event that saw him shaving off his beard in a bid to raise money for vulnerable children.
So we raised just over $20,000 doing that, and that is still going up. So there are online bids still occurring. So 41 years, it was a loss that occurred for a good reason.
The conference will continue until tomorrow. Laura Milovanovic, 7 Spencer Golf News.
A Care Connectors session will be held in Port Pirie next month, aiming to encourage locals to consider a career in the disability sector. Organisers say it's an opportunity to upskill job seekers within a rewarding industry.
Helping those who need it most. A Disability Connectors care session will be coming to Port Pirie next month.
What that means in plain English is that we've got a whole stack of disability care providers coming along and giving information sessions on what vacancies they currently have at the moment to work in the disability sector.
The joint initiative between BATCare, MADEC and Regional Development Australia. Organisers now working around the clock, saying it's the first one for South Australia and only the second for the nation.
It's a fantastic event, so it's going to enable people to get into the disability caring positions.
We're very, very keen to upskill job seekers and get them working in that area, which includes the National Disability Insurance Scheme, the NDIS.
Residents are encouraged to attend amid a demand in the industry.
Anybody that's thinking about working in aged care, disability, yes, they should attend. We have fantastic demand there. There's so many jobs we can't fill.
It's not only with people with their NDIS plans for disability services, but certainly with people to be upskilled enough to work in that sector, and hopefully we can find a pathway for those people to be able to participate.
Organisers are already busily preparing for the day. More information can be found online.
Both on the MADEC website and the RDA York and Mid-North website. So we've got those links there that people can register.
Shari Hams, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Near Start Port Pirie is calling for residents to consider applying for new job opportunities available. A company spokesperson says there's a number of roles on offer, including trade and operations. Other roles listed on its Facebook page feature electrical instrumentation fitter and boilermaker. Those interested are being strongly encouraged to consider applying, with prerequisites found online. Stay with us after the break. A popular children's entertainer performs his catchy tunes at Whyalla schools, and a digital skills program hosted at Clare Library. Hello again. Well-known children's entertainer Peter Coombe has been the talk of the town in Whyalla this week, making his way across the city's schools. For some, it's the first time seeing a performer live in action, with many adults also singing along to the popular tunes.
He's the children's entertainer that makes families smile across the world.
Don't keep me up, don't keep me up.
Known for his most popular song, it's a tune many locals of all ages know the words to.
When Mr. Clickety came, for lazy scene began, all the kids in the street, they like to do the same. Wash your face in orange juice. Wash your face in orange juice.
It's easy because I love it. I love doing it. People still seem to want to hear me sing, which is nice.
Touring the region with his solo performance, Peter Coombe is spending this week in Whyalla visiting students.
All of a sudden, from doing nothing in this part of the world, in 28 years, I'm suddenly doing lots and lots and lots, which is nice.
No stranger to the Still City, Peter used to work at Whyalla's Middleback Arts Centre in the 1980s. Now making his return, he says he's excited to be sharing his passion, starting with the children at Hinks Avenue Primary School.
I still love doing solo shows in schools. For some kids, it can be almost the first time they've heard a live performer.
It gets them moving, it gets them physically active, and the kids were just bouncing after it and during the performance. It was fantastic.
It was great.
I got to go up on stage with him and he sang a song about me in a pink balloon.
My favourite part was when he sang Wash Your Face with Orange Juice.
Mr Coombe will be making his way to Port Lincoln soon for a special public performance. Sophia Contagonis, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Residents in the Clare Valley are being encouraged to attend a digital skills session held at the local library tomorrow. The course will assist elderly residents or those in the community who need some extra help with digital devices. Staff say bookings are essential. The session comes during Get Online Week, celebrating the digital era and everything that's accessible online. Book lovers from all over the region say they're hyped for best-selling author Tricia Stringer's new release, touring the Eyre Peninsula with her popular books, resulting in out-of-town fans travelling for an autograph.
Mingling with all her fans, Tricia Stringer's new book is the new rage across the region.
Can't travel interstate, but the silver lining for that has been I've been able to travel more around South Australia.
The new release, The Family Inheritance, is the best-selling author's 13th book, with the new edition now available across Australia.
I've written a few now, 7 rural romances, which is where I started. Then I've also written some historical sagas set in the Flinders Ranges, and now I'm just merging onto contemporary women's fiction.
A country girl at heart, Tricia grew up on a farm in Port Neale, a special connection she has with many of her regional book lovers.
Can't take the girl out of the country or the country out of the girl.
Making her way around the Eyre Peninsula for her book tour, she stopped off in Whyalla last night for a special meet and greet.
Excited, very excited for tonight. It's a while since I've been to an event in Whyalla, so I'm really looking forward to it.
Fans travelling all the way from Corn for the new book.
The point of views are always a bit different and they're a bit more like adult, so you kind of like that they go into a bit more detail, and yeah, I just enjoy reading books about the country as well.
And of course, fans were most excited to get a special autograph.
Yeah, I've got a book in the bag over there, and my mum's got more behind us.
Tricia will be heading to Port Lincoln tomorrow. Sophia Contagonis, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Stay with us after the break. Sophia Contagonis will join us with this week's Fuel Watch, and we'll have all the weather details with Brit. Welcome back. Time to check how things are shaping up at the petrol pump this week. Here's Sophia Contagonis with Fuel Watch.
Welcome to another week of Fuel Watch. As usual, the prices are up and down this week, so it pays to shop around. Starting with unleaded, and Port Lincoln has seen a downward trend with a 1 cent decrease from last week, now averaging $1.20. Whyalla also dropping down by 1 cent from $1.19.9 to $1.18.9. Port Augusta remains the same, averaging at $1.19, ditching its most expensive petrol title in regional South Australia. Port Pirie increasing slightly to an average of $1.16, while Kadina stays the same at $1.17.9. Broken Hill residents seeing red with an increase to an average $1.25, and Adelaide's prices also jumping up dramatically by more than 20 cents a litre, now averaging $1.21. Turning over to diesel now, when it's relatively the same as last week. Port Lincoln, Whyalla and Port Augusta seeing no movement at all. Port Pirie seeing prices drop by 1 cent. Kadina, Broken Hill and Adelaide prices all increasing. Kadina rising by 1 cent to $1.17.9. The Silver City increasing by 6 cents to $1.31. And over in Adelaide, there's been a 3 cent rise to $1.10. Finishing off with a quick look at autogas, and it's good news. Port Lincoln has stayed the same at 89.5, with Whyalla welcoming a drop down to 86.9. Port Pirie's prices seeing a decrease, jumping out of the 80s down to 79.9. Port Augusta, Kadina and Broken Hill all remain the same, with Adelaide witnessing a spike this week, jumping up to 69.8. Now remember, these prices are the regional averages and do not represent one particular outlet. And if you do find unleaded diesel or auto gas for cheaper, please be sure to let us know on our Facebook page.
Turning now from the Bowser to our weather forecast, here's Britt with all the details.
Thanks, Ruby. Let's start by taking a look at today. We saw mostly sunny conditions across the region, with maximums creeping into the early 30s about some parts. As of 3 p.m, Woodna had recorded a high of 32 degrees. Port Lincoln reached 30 and Port Pirie saw a top of 29. Taking a closer look across the region, it got to 26 degrees at Clare today, 25 at both Kadina and Cleve. Whyalla reached a high of 24, Coffin Bay 23, Port Lincoln 19, and over in Adelaide it got to 22 degrees today. To the skies, and the satellite images show patchy cloud over the Gulf with a cold front sitting to our east. On the other side, we can see cloud building over western parts of South Australia near a trough, but not generating any wet weather just yet. So that was Wednesday. Let's take a look and see what Thursday has in store. Southeasterly winds about the Gulf waters, initially at 10 to 15 knots, but reaching up to 20 knots mid-morning. Seas around 1 metre, increasing to up to 1.5 metres about southern waters. And south to southwesterly swells sitting around 1 metre to the north, but at 1 to 1.5 metres in the south. A shower or two expected at Port Lincoln tomorrow, looking at a top of 21 degrees. A possible shower for Cleve reaching 28. Woodna, a possible shower with a high of 34 degrees. A partly cloudy day for Whyalla with a top of 32. Port Augusta, partly cloudy with a high of 36 degrees. Kadina also looking fine and partly cloudy, a top of 29 degrees there. 33 the top for Port Pirie, looking fine and partly cloudy tomorrow. Clare, partly cloudy and 28. Broken Hill, mostly sunny with a high of 31 degrees. Looking ahead to the end of the week now, showers expected across the region on Friday with a possible storm at Broken Hill. A top of 29 degrees for Port Augusta. Woodna, Broken Hill and Port Pirie all looking at tops of 28. A top of 26 degrees for Whyalla. Kadina 25, Adelaide 24 and Port Lincoln with a forecast high of 20 degrees. Saturday, more showers, but remaining dry about the west coast. Cloudy at Woodna with a top of 20 degrees. Broken Hill and Port Pirie also with tops of 20, but a little wetter. Port Augusta, Whyalla and Kadina all 19. A top of 18 degrees for Adelaide. Port Lincoln, 17. And Sunday is looking to be cloudy about the west coast, lower and eastern Eyre Peninsula, mid-north and Adelaide. Fine and partly cloudy elsewhere. Tops of 19 degrees for Port Augusta, Woodna and Port Pirie. Whyalla, Kadina and Broken Hill all looking to reach a high of 18 degrees. Adelaide 17 and a top of 16 degrees expected at Port Lincoln. So Ruby, we may see some showers tomorrow, but there's more wet weather on the way for Friday. And with that, it's the end of the forecast. Back to you.
Lovely, thanks for that, Britt. And that's the local news this Wednesday evening. Thanks for joining us. I'll have updates later. Until then, enjoy your evening. Good night.